Greetings from Columbia Business School, Executive Education. I'm Scott Gardner, and our team is very excited to welcome you to today's webinar, A Look Ahead at Columbia's latest in executive education. Before I introduce our team, I'd like to go over just a few quick logistics. A recording of this webinar will be sent to you. Please submit your questions throughout the webinar to the Q&A box, and we'll get to as many of those as possible in the last 15 minutes. And finally, we encourage you to follow us on our LinkedIn page, Columbia Business School Executive Education. As you can see from today's agenda, we will be covering a variety of topics that we hope will answer many of the questions you have about our upcoming programs. But again, we encourage you to use that Q&A box, and our team will get to as many questions in the last 15 minutes. It's my pleasure to introduce today's team who will be joining you. Stephanie Boyd, Senior Associate Director, Participant and Program Experience. Alberto Cruz, Director, Learning Solutions Team. Christine Tom, Assistant Director, Learning Solutions Team. And again, I'm Scott Gardner, the head of Participant and Program Experience Team. We're very happy to join you today. To kick off the content portion of today's webinar, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Alberto Cruz.
Thanks so much, Scott. Really appreciate that. And thanks so much to all of you for making the time to join us today. We're really thrilled about our fall program options in the open enrollment space. And we're equally as excited to share about our new programs that we have created and launching those together. And before we get into some of those, really what we'd like to do is share with you all about who we are here at Columbia Business School as it relates to our live online programs and programming options. For nearly a decade, we've been offering virtual live online programs, and those programs deliver true impact, and we're really thrilled about that. It's one of those points of pride for us. CBS is a pioneer in the executive education space, launching these programs, and I can tell you from experience that having launched those programs over the years, it has provided a great deal of knowledge, feedback, also experience, and really has led to how we've optimized our live online programming options today. We also understand that many of you are facing significant challenges in your day-to-day businesses. And because of that, we wanted to create programming options that are relevant and timely. And so as we're thinking about how to support leaders globally, whether you're going through managing distributed teams for the first time, all in the virtual space, or maybe you're looking at growth opportunities in a new way, our programs have been created to really keep you in mind. And we want to learn as much as we possibly can from you. So as you're going through these new challenges and new opportunities even, we encourage you to keep in touch with us, provide feedback, because at the end of the day, we want to create programs that are relevant for you, but also that are designed with you in mind specifically. Another sort of wonderful element is our Columbia Business School faculty. They really are world-renowned in their thought leadership, and we've been able to transition that into new formats with our live online space, and we're thrilled to be able to continue to bring those programs to you. And the wonderful part about it is that our faculty have great experience teaching, certainly in our in-person programs, but also on the MBA and the EMBA side for many years, as well as designing sort of these self-paced programs over the years. So our faculty are really thrilled to continue to work with you in different ways. And I think as wonderful as our faculty are, I'm equally sort of proud to share that our team, our overall team here at Executive Education really is in service to you. And you matter so much to us. And I think what we want to do is reduce that level of complexity and increase the impact that you have with us during our program. So whether that's communicating with one of our learning solutions specialists to really identify which of those programs are important to you. How do you start your learning journey? How do you continue to build up on the professional toolkit that you want or that you're going towards? I think we're here and we're available to have those conversations with you, as well as you prepare. Once you've decided on the program, we have excellent experts on our program management side who will carry you through every single step of the program process, from before you arrive to the live virtual program, during, and even post-program, how you can stay connected with us. So I think what I certainly want you to keep in mind is that when you do choose Columbia Business School, you're not alone in the process, and we're here to help. And certainly the last thing that I wanted to touch on as it relates to who we are, we want to just mention that feedback is incredibly important. I just touched on it a moment ago, and so as we're designing programs, and as we have been designing and launching programs in the last year plus, you are certainly at the forefront of our decision making. So you've told us to cut sessions to help maximize your scheduling. You've told us there are certain topics that you want to dive into further. And so we really have optimized how we run and launch our programs, certainly with you in mind. And as we're speaking about programs designed for you, one really important announcement that we'd like to reiterate, especially if you haven't been subscribed to our emails, is that through the rest of the calendar year, into 2020, the end of 2021, our programs will remain in a live online virtual format. And that really is an important element that we wanted to share, but certainly one that is exciting, especially as we launch new programs. And I encourage you to consider this moment for your teams and for yourself. And this fall, there's no shortage of program options that you can choose from. We have over 30 different programs available. And whether you're in need of greater leadership development or improving your financial acumen, focusing on your strategic goals, perhaps, there's a program for you. And we have programs that help leaders up and down and across the leadership ladder. So we encourage you to consider what a program development experience might be like here at Columbia Business School. I wanted just to touch on the length of our programs and how they're constructed. We have live online programming options that are as short as maybe a day or two, and they can go into multi-week program options. And so, we really do have programs that fit whatever schedule you are. And I know that many of you have offered feedback to me personally over the last several months about you being in different parts of the world and what we can do. And so we really have taken that to heart, launching programs at different time zones. And so we thank you for that feedback, and we're really excited that we can continue to reach you. I won't go too further deeply into the next 2 points, focusing on interaction and engagement, as well as live networking, as my colleagues on the program management side can share greater insight into those. But what I want you to take away is that we do focus intentionally on interaction and engagement. So it's not just looking at a computer screen for several hours, and it's not you seemingly alone and by yourself taking the program, but you will be connected with other global leaders that will enrich the program experience for you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the great benefit of attending live online programs during this moment, and that is to consider taking them with your team and consider sponsoring perhaps your team. This is wonderful for organizations as you move ahead, creating new strategies, creating new growth opportunities, for thinking about what comes next. And these are also great options for teams working on specific projects or initiatives together. Each program is a little bit different. And so my encouragement is, if you are interested in this option, please do feel free to email me directly, or you can email Christine as well directly, and we'll provide more information about how we can help. And as we're sort of thinking about development overall for not only yourself, but for your teams, this is certainly a great segue into speaking about how our program development can be really useful for training your global workforce when, especially a time as this where travel is so limited. Our lives have been interrupted in great ways, and every organization is at a different pace and cadence today. And many of you may be a year into recovery. Some of you may just be entering recovery. Some of you may not quite be there yet. But still, this is a great moment to continue to bring global teams together, to experience programs together, especially considering that there are globally still challenges with travel, and different countries have their own sort of rules and regulations over that. But certainly what we want to impart on you is that this is also a wonderful opportunity to boost and increase your employee engagement and productivity. We want you to increase also your own professional toolkit. I've shared in many conversations with you about preparing for that next phase of your career, or preparing for what comes next, and maybe preparing for greater leadership capacities or leadership roles. And again, this is a wonderful moment within the live online space, particularly this fall, for you to consider that. Our live online programs during the pandemic also have allowed people to sort of maximize their professional development right now. And like I said, I think one of those important questions that we're all sort of thinking is, what does 2022 look like? What does 2023 look like? So many organizations are starting to work on your 5-year plans, and in a time of great uncertainty, I think one of the great comforts is that you can rely on experts here at Columbia Business School, our world-renowned thought leadership and faculty, to guide you and shepherd you through that process, so you're not doing it alone. And as we sort of come to a bit of a close on this segment of the presentation, I know many of you may be asking also, why live online and why this time and why this moment? And I want to just encourage you by, having you think about that business continues to accelerate forward. And I know it's sort of cliche to think about and say, but it really does. And what we want to do is help you to avoid stagnation, help you to avoid just staying where you are, and really keeping in the know, because many of our global participants, they continue to collaborate and share so many wonderful success stories. And that's part of the rich process of coming to a place like Columbia Business Schools with such a global footprint. We also certainly have worked with a variety of partners over the years, especially in the last 18 months or so, who have shared some amazing stories. And, in the midst of this time, they've been able to sponsor their global leaders as they're going through restructuring or reorganization, or maybe they're going through looking at how in the world they're going to survive this moment, or how can their business come out of this even stronger with new business models and new business segments, for instance. And so, just because many of us continue to be virtual in different ways, some of us certainly are in person, but I think live online programming allows for many of you to, and not only for your teams, but for yourself, to gain those skills that you need right now in the moment when you really need them, where they can be effective for you. And the last thing that I'll mention is certainly to have the mindset of, managing this moment of change in an effective way. And Joel Brockner, one of our faculty, talks a lot about managing change and the process mattering. And so what we want to do is sort of bring down those anxiety levels, bring down that sense of lack of control with a more confident approach. And as you're gaining these skills and upskilling, you'll quickly realize that for your teams and for yourself, as you're prepared and as you are deployed back into making these critical decisions in your everyday experience, you're going to be able to lead through that change, and you're going to be able to succeed through that change. So I really hope you've appreciated and started to think through why the live online experience, why here at Columbia Business School. And so with some deeper insight and perspective on the participant experience, what I'd like to do is welcome back Scott and Stephanie for their wonderful insights, since they've worked with many of you directly over the last several months.
Thank you, Alberto. Yeah, I really, one of the words that you said, and it's truly a value of Columbia Business School executive education programs, is that a classroom is at its best when it's collaborative. And when we moved into the live online programming in this last year, and we looked at our legacy programs and all of the new programs that we've designed, we wanted to ensure that the experience for you was as collaborative, interactive, robust, and personalized as if you had come to New York and were sitting in a room together. So as Alberto said, this is not sitting in front of a computer and staring at someone lecture, that the best classrooms are the ones where we share ideas, where we create experiences where you are actively learning, actively sharing, actively speaking with other people across the globe. So with that, with each program, we systematically looked at the values, the best practices, the experiences that work best, and use the technology of live online programming to translate that over and to make that as engaging, energizing of a program as possible. And we feel that we've been very successful for that. It is as if in our mindset, we are all in a room together. And that is our intention every moment of every program. Secondly, we had already, before the pandemic, before we began live online, a very worldwide audience in our programs, and that has grown exponentially. And what's exciting about our classrooms is that with the experience of live online, it has grown our participant base. The global perspective is broader, the diversity is broader, and it's been a real benefit to the learning. It adds to the learning to have different perspectives from people in different organizations, industries, and parts of the world. It's been very exciting to bring groups together. And now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Stephanie Boyd.
Thanks, Scott. So when we talk about the business of learning, we know that you all have busy schedules and are juggling multiple obligations when you're taking our live online programs. We want to make the process as easy for you as possible. As with our in-person programming, when you take a live online course, you will have a dedicated program manager with you for every step of the way. This program manager will provide pre-programmed needs, be present with you on site virtually to guide you through the session and troubleshoot any problems you may be having, and be a resource after the program ends with follow-up and any lingering questions you may have. We make sure that you have all the information and tools that you need so you know exactly how to log in, access materials, and get right down to focusing on the content and interacting with your peers. When we talk about well-being, we also understand that sitting in front of a computer screen for long periods of time can be challenging, no matter how engaging and energizing the content. In addition to breaking up the sessions with activities, discussions, and ways to communicate with each other, we make it a point to also incorporate short breaks for you to stretch, refill your coffee, and for our longer programs, we have lunch breaks so you can informally chat with each other, communicate with the professors during office hours, and just reconnect with your outside life. Now I'm going to turn things over to Christine to talk about the Certificate in Business Excellence, which is the culmination of your program journey with Columbia Business School Executive Education.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. And more than just a certificate, this is a membership to a larger community. Our Certificate in Business Excellence allows our participants to personalize a learning journey that best suits their professional development needs. And you can do so by mixing and matching programs from our open enrollment portfolio. Participants who complete 18 or more credits over 5 years will receive select alumni benefits at Columbia Business School. Some of these select benefits include a 25% tuition benefit for you and for colleagues each year, invitations to alumni events, global networking opportunities, and a lifetime permanent Columbia Business School email address. And if you're a company, you may use our certificate to build employee loyalty, increase employee retention, and at the same time, we'll offer you special topic webinars and preferred group rates. And of course, you might be asking, how do I get started? So all of our executive education programs, whether they're live online, asynchronous, and in person, will count towards a Certificate in Business Excellence. You'll find more information on each of our program pages, including the credit counts, the pricing, upcoming program dates, and participant profiles. You may register to any of our programs directly on their webpage. And if you need any guidance in doing so and in building this learning journey, feel free to reach out to a learning solutions specialist. In a moment, we'll be introducing new programs this fall, and you may consider one of these programs as the starting point to your very own Certificate in Business Excellence journey.
Yeah, thanks so much, Christine, for that wonderful summary of our Certificate in Business Excellence. And over the past year, our team has created so many new program opportunities and modalities, and that also has included even shifting and transitioning many of our in-person programming options into the new live online virtual formats. And in the next few moments, we'll take a look back at some of our wonderful program innovations from the past year, and Scott and Stephanie will take you through some of those wonderful new creations. And we're going to also share what I hope many of you are thrilled about and excited about, why you joined us this morning, which is an announcement of some of our new program titles that are coming this fall, and which programs may be great for you. And I encourage you to sit back and listen to them. But overall, our faculty and our team have worked really tirelessly to bring these to you, and we can't wait for you to experience them with us and deploy them in your own career. Christine?
Kicking off this fall, on September 14th to the 16th, we have Faculty Director Michelle Pham leading our Strategic Customer Insight, Understanding Your Customer for Better Value Creation program. And in this program, you will learn how to gain the tools to uncover genuine insights about your customer. We'll start the program by exploring frameworks such as a deep customer understanding framework and a decision-making unit analysis. We'll dive into customer needs, motivations, values, and their buying process. And finally, we'll look into their total customer experience to develop insights and value creation.
Yeah, another terrific program. Thanks so much, Christine. And as we think about also programs within the data sciences, and many of us in organizations are using these today in greater capacities from our Decision Risk and Operations division here at Columbia Business School, we're excited to announce our Artificial Intelligence for Business Transformation program, led by faculty directors Asaf Zivi and Daniel Guetta. This 4.5-day program will be taking place really soon, actually, on September 28th through October 1st, and is designed to provide business leaders who are unfamiliar with the core concepts of artificial intelligence, or AI, as many of us know it, machine learning, and even blockchain technologies, to a fundamental understanding of their business uses. And it's really a crash course in AI for executives. Specifically, though, we'll focus on how these core concepts will help you within your own organizations by understanding not only their utility and application, but also by taking a closer look at a few industry examples, and also how these technologies have really supported growth and driven value. And then as a culminating process to help the learning stick, which is so vital and so important for many of you, well beyond the time that you've been with us, we'll take you through a practical framework to help you assess your organization's readiness to work with AI, data, and analytics.
Next, we have the Strategy and Leadership in the Future of Work with faculty directors Stefan Meyer and Jeff Schwartz, taking place October 18th to the 22nd. And in this program, you'll learn how to lead your organization in a post-pandemic economy by expanding your thinking and strategy and applying them to your work, workforces, and workplaces. You'll gain real insights by identifying key decisions, create value by integrating with your firm's strategy, and develop a baseline plan for next steps to organize work priorities. And finally, we have our Building Your Venture Capital Investment Thesis with faculty director Angela Lee. And this program will be taking place November 8th to the 11th. This program, you will learn how to build your very own capital investment thesis and learn how to communicate your brand to VC fund investors and entrepreneurs. You'll learn which funding type makes sense for you, how to adapt your thesis over time, and learn to measure the efficacy of your thesis as it learns to evolve. As a special bonus feature in this program, you'll hear from the world leaders in the VC space and learn about their best practices.
Thanks, Christine, again. And I know that many of you are chomping at the bit to get into some of these programs and continue to learn more. And I encourage you to visit our website for even more information. Certainly, we'll provide some additional details in follow-up. But you can go right now to the website and start reading through some of these programs a little bit more in detail. And these are all up and coming soon. We actually have another program that we're thrilled. It's not quite ready, but it will be very soon. It's the Digital Strategist program. And building on the research and the expertise of two of our faculty, Dan Wang and Jerry Kim, the Digital Strategist program really aims to close the gap between what leaders view as important to the success of their businesses and then their current progress towards achieving that. And the program will provide the decision-making frameworks and tools to help you, all of your leaders in developing a roadmap for integrating digital technologies and thinking more broadly into your organization strategy. So that's our Digital Strategist program. We also wanted to take a moment to share not only our wonderful new programs that I hope you're all so excited about, but think about other program opportunities and other areas where you can continue to increase your professional toolkit, or maybe that of your team. And so here's just a quick listing of a few of our really popular programs. These are some of our core and staple programs. And the first is High Impact Leadership, which is designed really for upper level executives with 10 to 15 years of management and leadership experience, but it really will help leaders to gain a profound understanding of themselves as leaders with 360 feedback, one-to-one coaching, self-assessments, and so much more. That's the High Impact Leadership Program. Also, we have Leading Strategic Growth and Change, where it's a program really that's focused on growth. And in this program, you'll learn how to find opportunities, launch new ventures, and lead necessary organizational changes to revitalize and transform your organization. Something so critical as we think about what comes next and what happens in the next moment of recovery.
Next, we have our newly redesigned Women in Leadership program. I'm super excited about this because this program is intended to elevate the impact of women leaders and teach them how to better navigate the business landscape, leverage their talents, and step into greater roles of influence. We also have our most popular program, our Value Investing program. And this program is aimed to help participants understand the foundational principles of Graham and Buffett's value investing techniques in both practice and theory.
Yeah, and finance and accounting for the non-financial executive is another one of our core programs that many of you have attended and sponsored your leaders to attend over the years. And if you're in need of understanding basic finance and accounting skills, or maybe you want to use those as a refresher, this is a tremendous program for you. And certainly it'll help you to improve upon your finance acumen, but also help you to identify red flags in financial statements to better manage your organization and your decision-making capabilities. And another program that we wanted to just touch on briefly is our Leading the Agile Organization, which is actually been redesigned in the last few months to shorten the program, but to be more intentional about application to your own individual experience. And that really has come from feedback directly from all of you. And as leaders, you'll learn the key skills and mindsets vital to leading an agile and adaptive organization. As I said at the top, we're really excited about all of these programs, and we know you will absolutely love them as much as we do. We hope you'll consider them for your own professional development along the way. Let me take this time to welcome back Stephanie and Scott, who can share even more about our other program innovations from the past year.
Thanks, Alberto. So as many of you may have already experienced, one of our newer program types are the Executive Access Series. These are 3-hour short format programs showcasing new research and thought leadership from our Columbia faculty, as well as top industry leaders. These programs serve as an accessible way to experience our innovative CBS content. And as you can see, they also offer benefits for our longer form programming and for your CIBE journey. So on the next page, you'll see that there are 2 of our upcoming executive access programs for fall. We're adding new sessions all the time, so please keep an eye out for our emails and check our website for up-to-date information on any exciting new topics that develop. Now back to Scott to tell you more about some of our additional offerings.
Thank you, Stephanie. One of the most exciting innovations we have coming up with an executive access program, Global Economic Update, What You Need to Know for Your Business with Professor Pierre Yared, is the offering of a subscription series. So you can purchase a single session, but you can also purchase a 1-year 4-session subscription, which will run quarterly. And Professor Yared will bring you the most up-to-date, pertinent information and learnings on the latest trends on the global economy. It's going to be a very exciting program, and we hope we can join us for that as it kicks off on November 17th for the first of the 4 sessions over the next year. And finally, many of you, I'm sure, on our webinar today have attended previous webinars with us. We'll continue to offer our free 30-minute webinars that are regularly scheduled that will highlight the content, give you a taste of the content for upcoming programs, and also give you the chance to meet the faculty directors of these programs. We currently have 3 on the schedule coming up. The first one, which is next week, Strategic Customer Insight, 5 key questions you need to answer, August 18th with Professor Michelle Pham. September 1st, 5 key decisions to manage the future of work in the next normal with Professor Stefan Mayer. And finally, on September 23rd, Launching Your Career in Venture Capital with Professor Angela Lee. These will give you a great opportunity to get a taste of the content for programs that you may be interested in. And also, we have the opportunity, like today, to submit questions, live questions that can be answered right there. It's, again, like today, like our classes, a very robust interactive experience. So that is a very broad, exciting summary of what's coming up this fall. I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Stephanie Boyd. We've been receiving questions prior to the webinar and we received questions during it, and she's going to host that.
Great, thank you, Scott. So yeah, as Scott said, we now welcome you to please submit any questions you have for our team regarding new programs for fall, the live online experience, or any general questions you may have about executive education. We received a number of questions in advance, so I'd like to kick off with one of them. So first of all, Alberto, I know you touched on this at the beginning, that our programs will be live online through the fall, but when will we return to campus for an in-person format? Alberto, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sir, certainly, and thanks for the question. It's one, frankly, that we receive a lot, and I know that it's on many of your minds. And the plan is to continue to be virtual, as I mentioned, through the end of the calendar year 2021. However, we're also planning to return to campus in the spring of 2022 when we launch our new, when we open our new campus in Manhattanville, and we're thrilled about that. So that's our plan. But I will preface it by saying that, this is a dynamic period. This is a dynamic time for so many of us around the world. And we want to make sure that we're honoring the fact that different countries globally are at different phases in their COVID experience. And so while that's our plan right now to have some programs return to campus, this is a changing time. And we want to still be able this fall to allow leaders, global leaders, to receive the development that they need, that is so important to them to carry their businesses forward, but also, to keep in mind that many of you I know are really excited to be back with us in person. So I encourage you to stay in tune with us. Please keep updated and connected so that we can share updates as they're available.
Great, thank you so much, Alberto. Now, Christine, I have a question for you. So John Carlos asked, how do we check our progress levels towards the certificate in business excellence?
That's a great question. And Juan, thank you for asking. Feel free to reach out to one of the learning solutions specialists at any time to check your progress. We're here to help you, and we're here to help build this learning journey towards your certificate. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Fantastic. Thanks, Christine. So a few of you have asked us about the different features of live online programs, specifically an example of some of the interactive elements that take place in a program, and what does networking look like for a live online program? And I understand both of those things might be kind of hard to wrap your head around if you've never experienced it. So I can take the first part of that question, because as a program manager, I've been on site for many of our live online programs, and I've seen firsthand how they're run. So honestly, it depends on each program. Interactivity in our programs range from focused group work, deep dives into personal cases and challenges, to collaborative work on business cases and business challenges that our professors present. We work on problem solving. There's also negotiations, role playing of various complexity. We supplement our breakout activities with tools, whiteboards, so it's easy for people to collaborate virtually and also to then present their findings for the larger group. So it really takes a lot of different forms, and of course it's relevant to whichever program you're taking. So, but no matter what it is, we try to build it in for each program to make sure that there's some levels of interactivity and what makes the most sense for the program you're taking. Scott, do you want to talk a little bit more about the networking and what to expect there?
Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to. Thank you, Stephanie. So this was one of the big questions we had when we were moving to the live online programming, was how will we still incorporate the networking aspect? How will our participants maintain that level of networking that they would have in person? And we've been very, very thoughtful over the past year, trying, retrying, recalibrating, giving ideas, having options. In the beginning, we were thinking, is it just a social at the end of the program day where we remain on and we talk socially, and that works and that's nice. But then we began to think larger. So we began to create networking sessions after the pure pedagogical sessions that would be more structured, so that people could have the choice of possibly going into separate breakout rooms with other people who had different questions, wanted to discuss different items pertinent to their businesses. So we gave a little more structure to the networking, and we found that to be a much more robust experience, much more pointed for people to meet the people that they wanted to speak to. Another offering some of the faculty directors have incorporated is we thought, you know, one of the nice things when you're in person is that you go and you have lunch together and you just talk and you ask questions, and it's not in the classroom. So we figured, well, how can we do that? So some programs will have lunches and we stay on and we talk to each other and we ask the professor. Other professors offer pure, what we call office hours, where they will give a structure to the kind of questions that can come in, guide the conversation amongst the group. So we're being very thoughtful about how we network within the program experience with breakout groups, personal casework, making sure that you're aligned with people that would be beneficial to you, as we did when we were in person, but also after the program days to make sure that you're continuing that conversation with each other, with groups, and also with structured networking, structured office hours. We're finding it to be some of the favorite parts of the program, because we do know, and we will continue to work on this, that it is just as important for you to meet the other participants in a very robust way.
Great. Thank you, Scott, for that thorough explanation. So we had one question come in and says, are there plans to continue to be virtual in a post-pandemic world with live online courses? Or is this a special arrangement because of the pandemic? Alberto, do you want to take that one?
Sure, Stephanie, thanks for the question. And I think what we've learned over the past year is that there is an opportunity for us to expand our reach at Columbia Business School and be able to allow for flexibility in our programming options. And while I think as we sort of move into the new year and beyond, we are really excited about potentially being back on campus. But as many of us have said over and over, this is a wonderful lesson. And I think live online, hybrid programs, maybe some elements of in-person and some virtual, I think that will continue to stay with us to some degree. What that looks like, we don't know, but I think our intent is to continue to be flexible to the needs of our global participants, understand how they like to learn, understand what modalities are important to them. And as we do that together, we welcome your feedback. But you know, as we've said internally, it almost has become part of our DNA, and we want to make sure that we continue to carry that forward in the most thoughtful ways possible.
Great, thank you, Alberto. So Alberto, a lot of these questions are coming at you. So Sarma asks, I'm interested to know if there's a program with a duration of at least 6 months or so on executive management. So can you talk a little bit about our long-term programs?
Yeah, that's a great question and very timely, I think, because one program that we didn't touch on too much in our presentation, but it is our flagship program. It's our advanced management program that's designed specifically for senior executives. And I think that's one of the programs actually that has benefited from this reimagining really of how we deliver programming options. And that's a program that I would encourage you to take a look at and consider for your own professional development needs. It's run over several months and has components that are live online, components that are self-paced, and components that are expected to be in person on campus. And so we're really excited about our advanced management programs relaunch. It's coming soon, and more sessions are available. We also have a partnership where we're going to release several new senior executive programs that do take place over several months. And I encourage you to come to our website and take a look at those. They're very topical, whether it's in for a chief financial officer, chief marketing officer, investment management, but there are a lot of options for leaders as they're looking for longer term development engagements.
Perfect, thank you. So along those lines, Victor asks, how do I know if a program is right for me? Seeing all these great programs and deciding, how do I choose, where do I begin? What do you suggest the process is there, Alberto?
Yeah, I think that is a common question, and we don't want you to feel overwhelmed. Christine, I'll actually encourage you to join in answering this question, because I know you work with so many of our our participants as well in their certificate in business excellence journey? Maybe you have some insights there too.
Absolutely. And I think that's a wonderful question. We can work with you just to help understand some of the learning goals that you have. If it's short-term or long-term, whether you have any challenges that you're facing in your current role, we can help identify programs. The wonderful thing about our portfolio is that it's super diverse. And I know there are so many options to choose from, but we want to make sure we can select the right program that fits your need at that given moment. And so feel free to reach out to one of us. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you and work one-on-one with you to help find you the right program for your needs.
Great, thank you, Christine. And then maybe you could touch upon this. Pavlina asks, so what is the preferred timeline for registering for a program for a live online session?
Absolutely. And given the flexibility of this current virtual environment, we'll be accepting applications up until like 1 week prior to the program start date. Now, of course, if you have any questions or concerns or need any additional time, we can work with you on the enrollment process, and just don't hesitate. One of our learning solutions specialists will be there for you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christine. So we have a question from Jeffrey who says, what are the specific ways that Columbia Business School Executive Education is encouraging and supporting interaction and engagement among certificate holders? So that's a great question and something that I can touch upon a bit. So again, having run a lot of our live online programs, in-person programs, I've seen a number of people come through and seen them on their entire path through our certificate in business excellence journey and had them follow up with me after. And I can say that so as soon as you receive your certificate in business excellence, you become part of the Columbia Business School alumni community at large, and you're able to attend events and come back to reunions and just be part of clubs. So recently I heard from one of my former participants who saw a need in a region in the Middle East that did not have an alumni club. So her and one of the other alumni in the region started their own branch of the alumni club in that area. So really it's a matter of what you make it. And I've also had participants reach out to me and say, hey, I'm back at Columbia, I'm doing some recruiting, I'm working with career services, or hey, you know, I've utilized your services and I've now, you know, gotten a new position all through the Columbia Career Services search page. So really it's what you make of it, but the options are endless, the interactions are endless. So you not only get to interact with other certificate holders, you get to interact with the Columbia Business School, other alumni at large, and it's just a great experience and one that I really hope you all can capitalize on. So let's see. So, okay, one question that we had that just came in is CBS is well known for its value investing program for its MBA. Have you considered offering any other core courses from this program or for executives for executive education or longer format? So Alberto, can you take that? In addition to value investing, any other core courses that we're thinking of offering?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think part of the way to answer that totally depends on certainly what feedback we receive from all of you and what participants are interested in and what organizations are going through. We're constantly looking at bringing on new program opportunities. In the last year plus, we've done that. We've actually launched our advanced value investing program to help individuals go even deeper into value investing principles and mindsets, and it's been a great success for us. We've also launched programs that have been very successful on the degree side. As to your question, one of those that comes to mind is our quantitative intuition program that's led by Oded Netzer, and he brings on two great faculty, also Christopher Frank and Paul Magnon, who are wonderful practitioners in their own right, working at American Express and Google respectively. And so I think our goal is to always, think about how we can add programs that make sense and are bringing value to you. And we'll continue to do that in the time ahead.
Great, thank you, Alberto. So a number of you have been asking about different topics and suggesting different topics, which is great. We really appreciate it. Please continue. We respond to you and what you want. So Please reach out to us, suggest any topics you might be interested. We've had some questions on sustainability, virtual reality. So again, please continue to offer us new suggestions. We're always adding new programs to the portfolio. So please continue to check in, read our emails, check the website. And of course, if demand is there, we will work with our faculty to create those programs. And on that note, that is all the time we have today. So thank you everyone for your great questions. Thank you for your enthusiasm. We'll be emailing you all the details, all the resources from today's webinar. And if you have any additional questions, please reach out to Alberto or Christine directly. They'll be happy to assist and guide you on your learning journey with Columbia Business School Executive Education and answer any questions you may have. And now I'll turn it back over to Scott for a wrap up. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you to our team, Stephanie, Alberto, Christine. It was wonderful to work with you today. Thank all of you for joining us today. We encourage you to keep in touch with us if you have any questions. We like to hear from you. We like to speak to you, and we like to hear your ideas and questions all the time. Please feel free to fill out the survey that will be shared with you and share your feedback on today's webinar. And finally, we encourage you to check our website to stay updated on the latest offerings. There's a lot of new programming coming up that we're very excited about, along with our wonderful legacy programs. So we hope to see you all live online this fall. Thank you for joining us at the very center of business.